Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, we'll be looking at this blouse with an asymmetrical neckline and ruched sides. And I'll be using this crepe fabric, which is about 1 yard. So I folded it into two and I folded it into two again. That means I have folded it into four. That's because I'll be cutting the front and the back panels together. From the top edge of my fabric, I am placing 2 inches downwards. At that point, I will draw an horizontal line and that becomes the shoulder line. On the shoulder line, I am placing 2 inches inwards. I'm measuring 2 inches inwards. At that point, I will go upwards with 1.5 inches. That's because the neckline of one part of it is high. I'll connect the two dots and place a half of my shoulder measurement minus 1 inch. At that point, I'll go down with 1 inch as the shoulder slope and I will connect it to meet the 1.5 inches I marked at the neck width. To create the arm curve, I'll go downwards from my shoulder slope with 7 inches and get the midpoint of that and connect the shoulder slope to the 7 inches, which is the chest line. I am drawing an horizontal line there. At the midpoint of the arm curve, I will go inwards with 1/2 inch and then use the curve part of my pattern master and connect my shoulder slope to meet the chest line. On my chest line, I will place 1/4 of my bust circumference plus 1 inch for seam allowance. And I'll measure from the shoulder line 16 inches downwards, and that's for the half length. At that point, I will draw an horizontal line, after which I will place 1/4 of the waist circumference plus 1 inch for seam allowance. From the waistline, I will measure 9 inches downwards for the actual hip line, and because the fabric is about 1 yard, so I'll be working with the length that I have left. Other than that, for the ruching, it should be double of your hip line. That means from the waistline, if I had measured 9 inches downwards, I should measure another 9 inches, making it 18 inches. Okay, so now at the blouse length, I am placing 1/4 of my hip circumference plus 1 inch, and at the actual hip line, I will place 1/4 of the hip circumference plus 1 inch as well. After this, I will connect the dots that I have on the waistline to the hip line and then straight down to the blouse length, and connect the bust measurement I have to the waistline and simply blend out that sharp edge. At the far edge of the blouse length, I am going upwards with 1.5 inches and I'll curve it to meet the blouse length, just so to give it some balance. And then to create the dolman sleeve, now remember I'm cutting the two panels together. So to create it, I am measuring from the mid shoulder. I'll place my shoulder measurement plus the sleeve length. Okay, so now I'm working with the fabric, the width of the fabric that I have, but of course you measure from your shoulder slope. You can have up to 10 inches. Okay, so I'll connect my shoulder slope to the shoulder slope that I have on the sleeve length and measure 10 inches downwards. I'm sorry my camera didn't capture this part, but you will get to see what it looks like. So at the point of 10 inches for the sleeve opening, I'm going inwards with 1.5 inches, and then I'll simply connect that curve, that point, to meet the waistline like so. So that's what it looks like. Okay, so now I have the sleeve opening at this point. After that, I am cutting it out. After cutting it out, I will need to open up this. Remember, we have the front and the back panels together. So I'll need to open this up so we can work on the dolman part of the sleeve. So the beauty about this blouse is that you can wear it either way, okay? So you don't need to be careful about which part, should have the asymmetrical neckline or dolman sleeve. So for the dolman part, I went inwards with 4 inches and I'll connect it to meet the measurement I have on my neck width. And just so we will see it properly, I need to change the position. I need to turn it this way so we can see it properly. So I'll connect, like I said, the point I have upwards at the neck width. I'll connect it to meet the 4 inches I marked on the sleeve length. And you can choose to use your freehand or you can use your pattern master to just connect these 2 points. So then I will cut it out. So after cutting out the neckline, I will then cut out the sleeveless part, okay? Because we already have the chalk on this part, so we'll know what we are cutting out. So I'll simply cut out this part to the bust measurement, and then at that point, I will cut it to blend into the waistline. So with this, we are done with the cutting. So I'll simply double fold the neckline. That's for the hem. You can use bias if you want to, but I choose to double fold it. So I'll double fold it and iron. And after that, I will join the shoulder with 1/2 inch for sleeveless part, following the contour that we have there, and then I will join the other dolman part using 1/2 inch. So when I'm done joining the shoulder, I will then clean up the edge that I have on the dolman part because I need to work on the sleeve first before we join the sides. So after cleaning up that edge, just to make sure it is straight and neat, I will double fold it as a way of hemming. Okay, I'll double fold it, and when I'm done with that, I will also double fold the blouse length, the hem part. I'll double fold it. I'm just double folding everywhere. You can choose to use bias, okay? So now, before I join the sides, I will need to double fold the hem. So remember, we are doing ruching at the side, so we can't join the side first before hemming. That's because it will seal up the hole that the rope should pass through. So after double folding it, we will work on the allowance that we use to sew the sides. So for the allowance now, we use about 1 inch. So I'll sew down 1/2 inch on both sides. And that will create the channel for these ropes that you're seeing. They have to be equal, so you just whatever excess you have from the rope. So then, after getting it, it will stop at the half length. So you use a safety pin to pass it through the channel that you've created, by sewing down the allowance on both sides with 1/2 inch. Take it to the half length and then you turn it just the way I'm doing it to the next hole. You bring it out and take out your safety pin, and that's the ruching. So you do this on both sides and our blouse is ready. This is how it looks like on me. If you find value in this video, give me a thumbs up, share and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.